Namaste and welcome back to the channel. Now today's recipe is called Saag Paneer. Now saag in India generally means a leafy vegetable, and in today's curry I'm going to use some spinach, mustard and fenugreek leaves, and of course the main ingredient, the Indian cottage cheese, which is called paneer. And I'm going to be making it into a spicy dish, and let's start the preparation. Alright, so for our dish I have taken 2 bundles of the spinach. I've taken 1 bundle of the mustard leaves and 1 little bundle of the fenugreek leaves. Now the fenugreek leaves are bitter, so it's not a good suggestion to take more than a bundle, otherwise your curry will be very bitter. And of course the main ingredient for our dish, which is the paneer. Now I have cut this paneer into triangular pieces. You can do it however you want. And after that I have marinated this with a little bit of oil and turmeric powder, a pinch, and a pinch of the garam masala powder. And we are going to fry this like shallow fry before we put it in the curry. Now this is the tomato, onion, ginger and garlic paste. I have taken 2 small size onions, 2 medium size tomatoes, 4 cloves of garlic and around half an inch of ginger, and I've made a puree out of it so that you don't hear the noise in the video. Now I'm going to make it spicy as I mentioned, and I have used 2 of the bird's eye chili. This is the red one, which is really hot. Then I've used the green hot chilies. They are not as hot as the bird's eye, but sometimes they are hot. And then the regular green chili. Now like we have used onions in this in the puree, but I'm still using some sliced onions. I've taken a little onion and I've sliced it up. Then I've got 2 heap full of ginger garlic paste, and I've got some roughly crushed garlic. I've taken 3 cloves, and you know, like I didn't want to add a lot of garam masala to it. I wanted to keep it as earthy as possible, so just the cumin seeds, no garam masala, whole garam masala today. All right, and for the spice powder, I'm not using the regular coriander powder or the chili powder. I'm just going to use one powder, which is my favorite, the Kitchen King powder, of course in my permanent jar. And this Kitchen King powder is pretty much good for every curry, you know. So I love using it, and here I am using it today again. So let's start cooking. Alright, now to start with the process, the very first thing I'm going to do is shallow fry our paneer. And for this we have to use at least 6-7 tablespoons of oil, because if you do not use good amount of oil, the paneer won't basically, it's a non-stick pan, but it might still stick to the pan. So the pan was on the heat from last 5 minutes, and the oil will get heated up very quickly. And to test, let's put a little drop. Yeah, it's ready to go. So we put our paneer slowly into the oil and shallow fry it. We need to be gentle with the paneer, especially when you cut it in triangular pieces, because you see the corners are very thin, so they break easily. Now my plan is to basically first cook the paneer, take it out, and if the oil is still too much, we remove the oil, or if it's just enough, we just leave it as is. And then we do our tempering and make the sauce first. And after making the sauce, I'm going to toss the grains in a separate pan and then add it to the curry and cook it for another few minutes. Now let's cook these paneer for a while. when it's crusted from both the sides, we'll remove it and then we'll make the sauce. Alright, now I have fried the paneer and I haven't made it very like crispy, or I haven't fried it too much, because if you fry the paneer too much, it loses its moisture and it becomes hard. So I have just gently fried it. And if your paneer is sour, you know, just a tip, if your paneer is sour, sometimes it does come sour, you can fry it a night before and soak it in water, and trust me, by next morning 90% of the sourness goes away. So my paneer was not sour, so I have fried it and I've kept it in the bowl. And now let's cook the masala. So I'm using the same oil, and it looks extra oil, but then you can always remove it at the end, you know, like just before eating. And I like keeping extra oil sometimes because it helps in cooking. And now to this oil we are using around 50 grams of butter, and I did not tell you in the beginning because I didn't want to scare you, but then you see, once in a blue moon, butter is all right. So with the butter, oil is a must. If you put just butter, it starts burning, it turns brown, and you can imagine, if it's burnt, it doesn't taste good. And as soon as the butter melts and this foam goes away, at least settles down a bit, if not goes away, I'm going to add the cumin seeds to it. Alright, it has settled down a bit, and probably most of the butter's water has evaporated. Now this is the time when I'm adding my cumin seeds. Let's give them a few seconds. Now you see, if you put cumin seeds directly into oil, they crackle very quick because the oil doesn't have no water in it. But then because I have added butter to it and butter has water in it, this will take just extra few seconds. And as soon as the rawness of the cumin goes away, I'm going to add my sliced onions. So I can see that the cumin seeds or the jeera seeds are brown already, and this is the time we add the sliced onions. You know, if you want to skip the butter part, it's fine, but then trust me, like green leafy vegetables taste very good with butter. And of course, Indian dishes are good with butter and ghee. And after cooking the onions for, let's say, 10-15 seconds, I'm going to add my roughly crushed garlic, and my 3 different kind of chilies, and cook for another few seconds. Now I'm not adding the salt at this stage because I want my onions and chili to stay a little bit crunchy, a little bit. And at this stage, I'm going to add my most favorite masala powder, which is the Kitchen King. Here we go. And this I'm adding 2.5 heap of the teaspoon. Stir it. And now that there is no water left in the mix here in the pan, we can't cook this masala for long, so we have to add something which has water content, otherwise the masala will burn and turn bitter. And this is the time when I add my ginger garlic paste. Cook it for, let's say, around 10-15 seconds, and after that we will add our tomato, onion, ginger and garlic puree and cook the masala until it's done. So it's around 10-15 seconds already now. And let's add the puree. Now until this step I was cooking everything on high heat on the low flame burner, and this is the time I bring it down to medium and we cook this masala until the oil and butter floats and the rawness goes away. Until then we take a break. Alright, now it's time to open up and see how the sauce has come up. Now as you can see, the oil and butter has floated on top, and I did stir the curry at least 2-3 times in between, because it's not a good idea to leave it as is. You know, it's a non-stick pan, but still if you keep it untouched for a while, it settles down and does stick a bit. And now as you can see that the oil and butter has floated on top, which means basically the sauce is cooked. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of the degi mirch powder, which is basically used for good color and flavor. It doesn't have too much of heat in it, it's just good color and flavor. And after adding the degi mirch, I'm going to cook it for another 5 minutes. Now I have already, like this sauce has been cooking from last 12 to 15 minutes, and as I said, it's 99% done, but because I've just added the degi mirch to it, I don't want it to have the raw flavor. So let's cook it for another 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes I'm going to add my paneer to it. Now as you can see, before adding the degi mirch, which was the red chili powder, the Kashmiri chili powder, it was not this reddish. The color came because of the chili powder, and that's what this particular chili powder does, imparts very good color. Now 2 minutes have gone, and this is the time I'm going to add my salt. I have just added for now 2.5 little teaspoons of the salt, because salt is a very dangerous item, I would say. You know, it's very hard to fix your dish once it's salty. So better put less initially, and then if you need more you can add it at a later stage. Five minutes gone. Let's add the paneer. Now this was around 100 grams of paneer, and initially I'm not going to add all of it, or actually I'll add all of it because everyone at home loves paneer. So here we go, paneer in. Give it a nice stir. cook it for 2-3 minutes. And after this is done, we are going to toss our veggies in a separate pan and then add it to this sauce and then cook it again for a few minutes. Now while this is cooking, I'm going to get another pan to toss our greens. Alright, now my paneer is cooked, the sauce is cooked. The last thing that's left is to add the greens. Now I do not like absolutely cooked greens, that is why I'm tossing them separately. Otherwise you can just cook it with the sauce where we added the paneer. And the pan is heating up from last 5 minutes. It has a little bit of oil in it. Now the first thing we put is the fenugreek leaves. And then our remaining greens. Now I have used once again spinach, mustard leaves and fenugreek. If you do not have any of these, it doesn't matter. You can just use the spinach, because I can understand in Australia sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times you don't get the mustard leaves or the fenugreek leaves very often. So if you use just the spinach and maybe a little bit of choy sam, which is the Asian thing which you can easily find in Coles or Woolies these days, the supermarkets. Now as you can see, I haven't chopped them finely. This is roughly chopped. Once they are cooked, a little bit more than just wilted, I'm going to strain them and add them to the curry. So let's cook it for a while, and once they are done, I'll come back to you. Alright, now as you can see, the greens have wilted nicely. I'm going to add them to our main sauce, and then we are going to cook it for another 2 minutes. And to finish it, if you like, you can add a little bit of cream to it, but then I'm not adding any cream because I already made it pretty rich by having a lot of butter in it. So the sauce and the paneer back on flame, and we have our chopped greens, and after 2 minutes our curry will be absolutely ready to be served. You can keep it as is, dry. If you want a little bit of gravy in it, just add some water or a little bit of milk to it. Now in my case, because we are going to eat it with rice, I'm going to add a little bit of milk to it. If you are having it with a paratha or a roti, dry is nicer. Alright, so around half a cup of milk, and then high heat. It looks absolutely delicious, and trust me, it'll taste delicious as well. Now this is not like a regular palak paneer, it's a saag paneer. Saag basically in India means a green leafy veg, and it can be spinach, it could be mustard leaves, or even the carrot leaves. You know, the carrot plant has leaves, you can use those. Okay, so we'll cover it and cook it for literally 2 minutes. And then it'll be ready to serve.